Yes guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson football channel. If you want to hear about Chelsea transfer news, I suggest you go and check out the live stream that I recorded and posted earlier on today. It was about an hour. Instead of just doing the usual, which is talk about the news stories, plonk them up on the screen, I kind of did the same thing, but I involved you guys in the chat. And if you want to see me do that more often, then please go over to that stream, leave a little comment, let me know your thoughts on what we discussed. Because in this video today, I'm telling you now, I said it in this video yesterday, but this week I'm just finding it really difficult to talk about Chelsea with the same kind of energy that I like to. Because quite frankly, I don't have that many positive things to say. There's an ongoing transfer window that is open right now. It closes on February the 3rd. All we're hearing about is this player might leave, this player's left, and we're not addressing anything that is happening right now at the club, and it is pissing me off. So I made a long rant-esque video yesterday, my raw and honest thoughts on Chelsea Football Club. Check that out. If you want to hear my thoughts on the news, check out the stream from earlier today. In this one, I want to address the comments from Liam Rosenior, who is the manager of Strasbourg, who are also owned by BlueCo, who also own Chelsea. It's like the parent overarching business. And I want to discuss his comments here because it kind of alludes to part of the problem here, which is the focus of the ownership isn't even just solely on Chelsea. We've got to remember Strasbourg are there as well. But I also want to begin by talking about the comments from Obi Mikel, because we all know, those of you that have been fans of Chelsea Football Club for a long time, will know that Obi Mikel was almost an ever-present player during that brilliant, beautiful era that was marshalled by none other than the quite magnificent Roman Abramamovich. We don't need to go into the details of what happened there. There was the war that was going on between Russia and Ukraine. As a result of that, the British government seized Chelsea Football Club from the custodianship of Roman Abramovich, took it away. Roman Abramovich cleared the debts of Chelsea Football Club, and £1.5 billion is just currently just sat there somewhere in some government account. Had Roman Abramovich still been the owner of Chelsea, I think we can all agree that things would probably be very different to the way that they are right now. So Obi Mikel also agrees with this. I don't know too much about these American owners. They call it football or soccer. Anyone who calls football soccer, I don't want to talk to you. You clearly have no knowledge on the game. No, but Roman was the guy, spending so much money, bringing the best, always making sure we are at the top. Every year, we are winning trophies and competing. Even if we didn't win, the next year, we have to win 1 or 2 trophies. For us, Roman was the guy. Now, obviously, Obi Mikel, there's been a lot of moments where he might be a bit outspoken. There's a lot of times when I think he was speaking particularly about Nicholas Jackson, but at the time, Nicholas Jackson was scoring goals, and it was kind of like, why, if you're a Chelsea fan and an ex-player that cares about the club, why would you be shoving a striker under the bus who you know is going to be listening to your comments when he's actually doing okay? And maybe we can look back in hindsight and think, well, the whole time Mikel was actually just speaking something that was just going to be right there before our very eyes at some point, at least in the future. Lo and behold, now, I think it's universally agreed amongst the Chelsea fan base that some people just don't want to hear anything about Jackson being a good footballer. I'm going to say my thoughts one more time. I think Jackson could become a great striker, but right now he's absolutely not. He's got too much pressure on his shoulders and not enough pressure in the right way. There's no one else there at Chelsea right now that can do the job through the middle, and even if there is, the manager don't fancy them, and the club are trying to find solutions to get rid of them, such as Nkunku, such as Joao Felix, and Mark Hughes, an 18-year-old. Jackson's not doing the business. Chelsea shouldn't be settling for mediocrity, so therefore we should buy a striker. And Obi Mikel here is alluding to the differences that have come at Chelsea Football Club. Roman Abramovich would not settle at any point of his tenure for anything other than seeing Chelsea at the very pinnacle, seeing Chelsea at the very top. And this wasn't just in the form of Well, we don't really have a striker scoring goals right now, so let's buy another one. Didier Drogba was the main guy. When Drogba came in, that was the man that Jose Mourinho wanted. Chelsea went out to get Jose Mourinho, who won the Champions League with Porto. And other than that one season, we're not talking here about a manager that had proven it on the big stage for a long period of time. But what Roman Abramovich did was, when this Chelsea project of his started, he went out there and got the best young thing that was available at the time. Nowadays, Mourinho gets looked at by new age football fans and everyone's like, nah, Mourinho, he's lost it, he's nothing, he got lucky back in the past, he had great players, he had a great team, and he had Roman Abramovich spending money. Jose Mourinho was at the peak of his powers because football was what football was then. What Jose Mourinho wanted was a spine. He wanted a team that had a really great goalkeeper. We had John Terry as a captain at centre-back. We know exactly how that went. What an incredible captain he was. You've then got a midfield that had the likes of Claude Makelele, Frank Lampard, Michael Ballack over time, Michael Essien. These are big name players. These are a spine. Didier Drogba through the middle as well. Roman Abramovich created that. He understood that in order to have success, yes, you're not going to be able to have the same starting 11 that is going to play for 10 years in a row. That's never really been the case in football. The only thing close to that was Sir Alex Ferguson's Manchester United team, the class of 92, treble winners in 99. My granddad was a Man United fan. I watched that VHS tape too many times, but I was kind of forced to. But you look at that squad and you're like, well, there's a spine there still. And they would still, even in the late 90s and early 2000s, teams would invest in players to keep things fresh, but keep things ticking over. But it was about what the manager wanted. It wasn't about having a project that was based on a business model about buying, selling, and can we make profit here? Can we make profit there? It was purely about winning. And that is exactly the truth that we are seeing right now. If we cared about winning more than we cared about the business plan and the project, then ironically, I believe the actual business plan will look so much better if we get Champions League football and an extra £100 million in revenue. On top of the fact that in 2021, whilst Roman was still at the club, we won the UEFA Champions League, Europe's pinnacle, peak competition. And as a result of that, somehow, in 2025, we get to compete in the first Club World Cup that gets us another 50 million. It's 150 million there, potentially, of profit that Chelsea could be looking at if we prioritised buying the players to fix us right now. And I know that it comes across as, oh, Chelsea fans, bloody hell, they spent 1.5 billion under these new owners. Can't they just be a bit grateful for that? And most of that has been complete and utter rubbish and nonsense. And unfortunately, John Obi Mikel can see a footballer that was obviously a very smart player. When we talk about Mikel, he might not have been the easiest on the eye, but John Obi Mikel as a CDM could see the pitch. A lot of the great managers in the world these days, or great managers, but a lot of good managers that come up are central midfielders. Fabregas coming up at Como. You got the average Arteta at Arsenal. But these players, they know the game. They understand the game. And these comments from John Obi Mikel here about Jackson's miss against City. Again, we went 1-0 up and we had the chance to go 2-0 up with Nicholas Jackson. Some people are saying that the pass from Cole Palmer is a little bit... No, it's not. You're a striker. Just put your foot through it. If you miss, it's fine, but attempt to score. What did he do? Just controlled the ball and then came back. Your job is to effing score goals. Now, I'm not just going to alleviate all of the pressure and blame here off of Cole Palmer's shoulders because it's not the best ball from Palmer. But again, Jackson, just hit it with your left foot. And these are the standards that under Roman Abramovich, if we had a striker that just couldn't finish, that wasn't scoring goals, that has had a history, despite scoring a fair few, still there's a history there of big chances missed. And Chelsea creates so many big chances, but why don't they convert any? There is a lot to be said for having a striker that just does finish those chances. And as well as that, we're also talking here about Rob Sanchez. Sanchez and Jackson aren't Chelsea material. The keeper costs points. Keepers are meant to win you points. And Jackson has 7 games, 0 goals. He can tell me to shut up because I won't stop until he fixes up. First of all, it's kind of difficult when an ex-player that has now got himself a podcast in the modern footballing world where there's avenues of voices coming in from every direction. You've got people on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, different podcasts, television. There's so much noise in football nowadays that we can all voice our opinions and we can all say what we feel. We can say what we want. But I think amidst all of this and amidst all of the opinions and all of the thoughts right now, John Obi Mikel is absolutely spot on here. As a goalkeeper, your job is to win points for your team and not keep giving them away. And Rob Sanchez has given away more goals from his own individual mistakes than any other player in Europe's top 5 leagues. This guy is at Chelsea. Chelsea, a club that under Roman Abramamovich would demand success at every given turn. Don't win this year, win me 2 trophies next year. And lo and behold, what did we do? Countless times, over and over again, we would do that. Why? Because the owner only cared about winning. Roman Abramovich had his one shiny toy. And this is like, a lot of you might be able to understand here as we move into the comments from Liam Rossinia. When it's Christmas and you're a kid, right? If you're lucky, you might get 1 new toy. You might get 2, maybe you get 3. And as a kid, when you've got these new things in front of you, you're looking at it and you're like, well, which one shall I use first? Which one do I want to play with today? Roman Abramovich just had the PS5. There's nothing else I want to open anymore because I've got that new PS5. I'm going to play it and I'm going to just maximize it and I'm going to do everything I can to enjoy it. That was Roman. Now, what we're dealing with here, understanding why Chelsea aren't investing right now on the clear as day problems that we as fans that only care about Chelsea can see. This is what we've got to deal with. These are the comments here from Liam Rossinia. They, BlueCo, are very passionate about it. They're constantly trying to help us improve. We've had members of staff go over to Chelsea's training ground to see how they're doing it, and I'm in constant contact with Paul and Lawrence and Sam Jewell, Chelsea's Director of Global Recruitment as well. BlueCo are just as invested and just as passionate about Strasbourg as they are about Chelsea. That's great for me. We're here to try and do good things in the long term. Well, what Chelsea have isn't the owner that only wants the PS5. The greatest Christmas gift that a kid could ever dream of, I guess, if you're into gaming or maybe you're into other things. It's fine, but just for the sake of it, go along with this one. What we've got now isn't just Chelsea, win at all costs. Chelsea, we're going to make sure that we fire this manager, we're going to bring the right one in and we're going to give him the players that he wants, all of the assets available to succeed. We have now got owners that care about the sister club, the cousin club, the brother club, whatever you want to call it, just as much as they care about Chelsea. Why? Because that backs up the business model. That backs up the buy to sell, buy to nurture, develop to sell. That's the model we're dealing with. And I know you might be like, Benson, can you please stop making videos like this all the flipping time? Unfortunately, I've actually had enough now because the problem is, and I think Eunice said this the best, of all the people that I've been watching recently, Eunice said it the best. The big question that we have to ask ourselves is, do we think things are going to change? The answer for me is no. Because what Mikel is saying about Sanchez and Jackson being a problem, we can see what needs to be addressed before our eyes. Are we doing that? No. We're talking now about selling Felix or getting rid of Felix to Aston Villa. Nkunku still, we might keep him, but like the guy's gone. The guy's brain isn't at Chelsea anymore. We've disrespected him enough. And we're not going to go out there and buy anyone but Garnacho. From what we're reading right now, if things do change, if we do start to go out there in the market and address the problems such as goalkeeper, he's rubbish. Striker, we need backup for Jackson. Midfield, we need cover for Caicedo and Enzo who are running their legs into the ground. If we go out there and address these things, I'll be like, all right, cool. We're actually doing the right thing here. We're actually trying to address the issue, which is Chelsea aren't winning. We want to be winning. We should be winning. That's the standard. I spoke about mentality yesterday. What I wanted to speak about today is where that mentality came from. Mikel was a player under Roman Abramovich, and what he's saying makes 100% truth and sense. It was win, or there's no other option, win. Now, we're just as worried about Strasbourg, a team in France, as we are Chelsea. So yeah, that's why things are probably not going to change, because we'd have to change the whole model for that to happen. Not happy. Still not happy. Thoughts in the comments down below, guys. And if you want to know the transfer feelings and thoughts about those deals that are happening right now, check out the stream. Thank you guys for watching. Subscribe to GBFC if you are new. Thoughts in the comments. Goodbye.